parallels. So back to your geometry notes, we will look at loci today. So let's start with loci, the explanations. Remember, a point is equidistant from one point. So usually you will have your point. Equidistance will mean a circle around that point that will be equal distant from all sides. I know if you look at my picture, it doesn't look like that, but you will use your compass to do that. So this will be your radius, and it will be the same on all sides. So whenever you see you have to draw a point, you need a circle. And I'll give you another summary just now from the types of questions that they ask. So this is equidistant from one point. Then we go to two lines. This is equidistant from one line, which means you have your line and you need parallel lines the same distance from the center line. So this distance and this distance will be exactly the same. These are parallel lines. So for example, you will have 1 point x there and 1 point y there, for example, and they will be equidistant from one line. So they are parallel lines, equidistant from one line. Then we will look at the angle bisector. This is usually equidistant from two lines that intersect. And if, for example, we have A, B, C, it means your loci will be the line on B, for example, that is exactly the same amount away from A as it is away from C. So these two angles will be exactly the same, and the distance from the line AB and the distance from the line BC will be exactly the same. Then we can get an angle bisector CDE that will look like that. First of all, you will draw your loci. I'm just using my free hand. You will use your compass. And then from there again, so this will be step number 1. Drawing your circle. Why a circle? Remember, this will go as your circle, but you don't have to draw the entire circle because D is a point. Remember that. D alone is a point. So there will be your circle. Then from there on, from there, you will make your arc again, and that will be number 2. Then from this side, number 3, you will again make your mark, and then we will have, you will use your ruler and you will draw your line, not freehand like I just did, with a ruler, and that will be equidistant from line DE and from line CD. So that will be equidistant. Then the other one that's not on the previous page is your perpendicular bisector. And this is equidistant from 2 points. So for example, you will have point X and you will have point Y. And you need them to be equidistant from 2 points. So remember again, the same goes with X and Y. These are points. So you will have your circle around each point, and then from there on, you will make your construction marks. I'm just showing to you, you will use your compass to do this perfectly. And then you will have your line, which is equidistant from 2 points, which is known as your perpendicular bisector. Then I'm going to give you a summary. If you have 1 point, they will ask you, for example, in your question, you will have 1 capital letter. So draw the loci of point A, for example. Then what do? You draw a circle. That's what you do. Then you have 1 line. That is 2 capital letters together. You will find this in your question. They will, for example, say, draw the locus of the line AB. Then you will need to draw parallel lines. The next one, where we have 2 points, the question will state A and B. So you will have 2 letters, capital letters, with an and in between in your question. Draw the locus of points A and B. Then you will draw a perpendicular bisector. Then the last one is where we have 2 lines. So here we will have AB, 2 capital letters, and 2 capital letters again. And you will find that one of the capital letters will be repeated in the question between the 2 lines. So what this means is you will need to bisect angle B, because the B is there in both of them. And what you will do now is this will be a bisecting angle. Just remember what I said just now. If you have A and B, each one of them is a point. So this is a point and this is a point. And when you have a point, like we said here, you need a circle. So you will have a circle around each of the 2 points. Then grade 12s. That is a summary for your loci. Attached is worksheet 1 for loci. Please do that worksheet for homework, and in the next period we will mark that worksheet.
Worksheet 1 to do. I did the answers and scanned the worksheet so that it is easier to explain, but we'll see how it goes. Some of my construction lines were a little bit light. So let's look at question 1. Question 1 said, in the triangle ABC above, construct the locus of points equidistant from A and B. So what you will do is you will take your compass from A a little bit larger than more than a half between A and B, and you will draw your lines. I'm just tracing you my lines so you know those are my lines. Then with that same size, you will do it from B as well, and you will get the other two. And here through, you will find your line equidistant from A and B. Then number 2, the locus of points equidistant from AB and AC. So you need to bisect angle A, which will be this one. So you can bisect your angle here at the bottom with your compass, making it a little bit larger. And then from there on, you will take your compass from the bottom part of your circle and you will draw, my construction lines were here at the bottom and from that side as well. And if we just quickly remove all these lines, this one going through there will show your your locus line for number dotted 2. And then the locus of points 9 centimeter from C. So you will take your ruler and your compass, measure 9 centimeters, and this one was my real one. This one I just made darker with a compass on this smart notebook. So that one was your 9 centimeter line. Then you have to shade the region inside the triangle consisting of points which are closer to A than to B. So closer to A above that first line. Closer to AC than to AB. So again, closer to that side, AC is that line, than to AB, so on that side, and more than 9 centimeters from C, so behind this part. And this part was the area that you should have shaded with lines. So that was question 1. Let's look at question 2. A treasure is hidden in a triangular field where 1 centimeter represents 10 meters. Using a straight edge and compass only, construct the scale drawing the locus of points within triangle ABC, which are equidistant from AB and AC. So you need to take your compass, and point AC will be your angle bisector. So you will actually draw your circle around A, which is these two lines, that line and this line. Then you will take your compass again from this line, just get another color, from this line, and you will make your bisecting construction lines. So that was the one, and then from this side to this side you will have your other line, and with a ruler draw your line through your construction lines. Now your construction line will probably stop there, which is good. I just draw mine through so that you can see it goes through where the construction lines cross. 10 meters from BC, which means here is BC. 10 meters is represented by 1 centimeter. So 1 centimeter rule, 1 centimeter line, that is this line, that is 1 centimeter from line BC. And then we have 50 meters from C, that is 5 centimeters. So take your compass, measure on your ruler 5 centimeters, and from C, measure out your 5 centimeters. There's your 5 centimeters, and you rule your angle bisector, your circle around point C, 5 centimeters. Remember, that one is only 1 centimeter between these two lines. And then write the letter T in the region where the treasure is hidden. So the treasure is nearer to AB than to AC. So nearer to AB, nearer to this side, than to AC. So somewhere on this side. More than 10 meters from the line BC. So 10 meters, that's 1 centimeter, so it is in this region, but less than 50 meters from point C, so this is inside this part, so there you have your T, which will be in that part that you should have write the letter T in the region, so that will be your T will be shown there. Question number 3, it says, sorry about this part, but my construction went over the questions. Use a straight edge and compass, only construct the bisector of angle TPU. So your bisector, now I can try to do this with my compass. So constructing my bisecting angle, so constructing my angle bisector, that was your decision how large you want it. This is probably not going to be exactly on scale, but you make your part of your circle on your line or on your angle P. Then you had to draw another line accurately, find the center of the circle and label it O. So you will put in your construction lines. There's some of my construction lines, as you can see. There's one of them. There's another one. I have construction lines here at the bottom as well. Let me just go down a little bit. Here at the bottom as well. The other one is on this side. And you get your straight line. And there's your other straight line, and you find your center O is there in the middle. So there you have your O. Now let's try and let's go to question number 4. So for number 4, they ask the following. Write a scale of the drawing in the form 1 to n, where n is an integer. So AB is 100 meters. That part, AB, is 100 meters. So we write the scale, because if you measure this, you will find AB is 10 centimeters to 100 meters. But remember, we need the same units. So we change the meters to centimeters, multiplying by 100. And then we simplify our ratio to get to our ratio of 1 to 1,000. So that is our ratio 1 to 1,000. Then they ask us, a tree in a field is equidistant from point A and point D. Construct the line on which the tree stands. So equidistant from point A and point D. So what we need to do is get our compass, point A and point D. So from point A, I will construct my lines on both sides, compass back, D, constructing my lines. Then the same I will do on A, with the same distance on my compass, constructing my lines, and just moving this a little bit back there, and I will construct that same line. And obviously this will not be exactly in scale as my picture, but there is my line equidistant from A and D. That one that is drawn in there, as you can see, got it from there, and it goes through my center point. There I have my line equidistant from A and D. The tree is also equidistant from the sides BC and CD. After constructing another line, mark the position of the tree and label it T. So equidistant from the sides BC and C, D. So BC and CD. So what we will do is equidistant from BC, angle bisector of angle C, because between BC and CD, C was found in both. And then we will construct our other lines. Let me just try and get this exactly where it should be. I will construct from my two sides. Where's my pen? There's my pen. From the angles that I made, and as you can see, not exactly to scale as my hand drawing, but still the same. There, through that, I have my line that I have to draw that is equidistant from the sides BC and CD, and then I have to mark the position of the tree. So there where the lines cross, there, I'm just encircling this so that you can see there where my line cross, that will be my tree. So I will put in my T there where the line crossed. And that grade 12 was your question 4 on Loki worksheet 1.
Attached is a PDF, the worksheet 2. Please complete worksheet 2 and then you can mark it from this video. So I'm continuing marking. Draw accurately. Number 1, draw accurately the locus of points inside the triangle 6 centimeters from B. So get your compass and then you measure 6 centimeters on your ruler, and remember from point B, there's point B, you measure 6 centimeters and it will be that line. And draw accurately the locus of points equidistant from AC and BC. So AC and BC, the C's are in both. So it will be from C, you will have your semicircle or your circle. Remember, C is also a point, and with points you need circles, but you don't have to draw that. And then from this point and this point, you will make your construction lines, and you will draw your line that is equidistant from AC and BC. Then shade the region inside the triangle which is more than 6 centimeters from B. So more than 6 centimeters from B means it will be in this range. I'm just making dotties. In this range, more than 6 centimeters from B and nearer to BC than to AC. So nearer to BC is the one here at the bottom, which means this part will be your shaded area. For number 2, a dog is tied to one corner K of a fixed square kennel by a rope. This is shown in the scale diagram above. Draw accurately on the diagram the path of the dog as it moves anti-clockwise around the kennel with the rope always tight. So let's try it with this. You will have your measuring out of how far your dog can move. which in this case will be that path. And then the rope becomes tight around the kennel, so you will be able to move that part as well, and again, and you will be able to move that part again. So there is your answer to question 2. For number 3, grade 12s, they ask you to calculate, to measure the appropriate angle, the bearing of P from C. So if we look at where C is here, the bearing for P from C, so your north is to that side, so you will measure this to there. What I advise you to do is first to get your line from P to C, and then you can measure your bearing. Then she starts from D and walks for 80 meters on a bearing of 0.055, 55 degrees. So measure out 55 degrees, and then she walks 80 meters, which is 1 centimeter represents 10 meters, so this will be 8 centimeters, and mark the point. There's M where she walks to. You will draw the locus of points to 25 meters from M, that will be 2.5 centimeters line, but there is the locus of points 2.5 centimeters from M. Measure that on your ruler, 2.5 centimeters. Then you have to draw the locus of points equidistant from M and P. Draw the locus of points, so you will need to draw, mine is there at the top, here at the bottom, and get your line through your construction lines that crosses. And your treasure hunt or your treasure is hidden less than 25 meters from M but nearer to P than M, and there we have our
Hey kids, are you in primary school and want to get extra supplementary maths, English and science lessons? Then invite learning in with One Africa TV's #LearnOn1 every weekday from 9 to 11 a.m. with repeats from 2 to 4 p.m. And thanks to NMH's MyZone, these lessons are 100% Namibian. There's so much to learn with #LearnOn1. Invite learning in.
So grade 12s, download the PDF from this file, do the Loki worksheet 3, and then you can mark. So first of all, you have to use a scale of 1 centimeter to represent 10 meters. And then you must make an accurate scale drawing of the field OABC, where you construct triangle OAB, so 88 meters, that will be 8.8 centimeters, so measure that, and that will be your line OA. And then O is a bearing of 40 degrees, so measure 40 degrees, 146 meters, divide by 10, 14.6 centimeters, that will be OB, and then you can draw this line AB. So there is your triangle that's constructing, that was number dotty 1A. Dotty 2 in A, draw the locus of the points equidistant from AB. So you will find your compass and you will draw, you will take your compass from A, let me get another color, from A and from B, and you will make your construction marks. So there you go. Then what you will do is complete the scale diagram, that's dotty 3 of OABC. Now remember, C is from equidistant from A and B, and the bearing of C from O. So from O, the bearing of C, that means this entire part needs to be 98 degrees. But we already have this 40 degrees, so this one will be 58 degrees. Measure that out, and then C is equidistant from A and B, so through your locus points, you can draw your line that will go to C. And you will get your line OC, join B and C, and you have your diagram. Then you use your scale drawing to write down the distance of OC. So you will measure this distance multiplied by 10. That will be 77 meters. And the size of angle OAB, so you can measure your angle, that will be 105 degrees. And find the bearing of A from B. So you will need to find this bearing, 108 degrees plus 32 degrees plus 35 degrees, and that will be 247 degrees. Then a donkey is in the field not more than 40 meters from C and is closer to B than to A. So shade the area where the donkey could be and label that D. So you will find 40 meters will be 4 centimeters. Take your compass and measure 4 centimeters on your ruler and draw your marks. And then it will be closer to B than to A, so this part will be D, where your donkey is at. It will be that part. And then a horse is in a field not more than 20 meters from the side AB, so measure 2 centimeters from the side to, it's closer to A than to B, and you need to shade this area and mark it H, so there is your horse at. It will be that part. That was question number 1. Let us go to question number 2, where we have the construction that we have to make. Going to the next page, there is our construction. So draw the line AB 10 centimeters long, AB 10 centimeters in the center of a new page. Then you have to construct the quadrilateral ABCD. They give you the angles. You can measure out the angles, 82 degrees, 68 degrees, and then the other one is 112 degrees. You can draw your line so that you get your quadrilateral. And then use a straight edge and compass only. Construct the perpendicular bisectors of AB and AD. These meet at E. So when you do your perpendicular bisectors of A, you will bisect angle A, because between AB and AD, you find A in both of them, so you will use angle A to bisect your angle. Leave all construction lines. As you can see, we've got construction lines here and there. On this side, there's our construction lines and they meet at E. Number C, measure and write down the length of AE. So AE is about 5.7, 5.8 centimeters, depending on your drawing. Construct the locus of all points which are at this distance from E. So you will take your answer in C1, measure this out on your compass, and then from point E, get another color, from point E, you will draw your point, which is a circle. So this, I'm just showing this to you, will be 5.7 centimeters, which is your answer to C.1. Write down the special name for quadrilateral ABCD. This will be a cyclic quadrilateral. Shade the region inside the quadrilateral which is nearer to A than it is to B and nearer to A than it is to D. So here is A, there's B, nearer to A and nearer to A from D. So it will be this part that you shade. That is question number 2. Then going to question number 3, we have our drawing. Number A, we should construct the angle with BC 10 centimeters, 9 centimeters, 7 centimeters. So here is A, B, C. Using your ruler to draw that 10 centimeters. AC is 7 centimeters and AB is 9 centimeters. And there we have our 10 centimeters. Construct the perpendicular bisector of BC and AC. So BC and AC, you find C in both. So from C, you will draw your angle bisector and the perpendicular bisector. Number D, draw the line OH and label its midpoint N. So your line OH and the midpoint is N. There we have the midpoint. M is the midpoint of BC. So here we have M. There we have the midpoint. Draw the line through M and N to meet AH at U. So draw the line M through N to U. There we have it. And it joined the line AUH. And then number F, what do you notice about the length AU, UH and OM? If you measure them, they are between 1 and 1.2 centimeters. What can you say about the triangle OMN and HUN? They are congruent. And with N as a center, draw a circle with radius NM. Measure and write down this radius. So you need a circle from N with the radius NM. So you need to measure NM and you will draw your circle and measure that radius or write down that radius. That's 2.6 centimeters. So always leave your construction lines so that the marker can see what you did and then they will mark with the error of your drawing if you have one. That grade 12s is the end of Loki.
I like rhinos. I like them very much. Future here in this area is depending on the tourism. The future generation, they can see and they can benefit from their own resources. Animals like rhinos, elephants, the big five, you benefit from them and it must be respected. You are not feeding the rhinos, you are not giving them order, so it's a free business. I take two of my sons, which was little bit 5 years old. They were young guys. So they asked me questions. Why are we here? Why are we sleeping here? I told them this is our resources and this is our future.
My first memory of going with my dad is that I learned new things. As I grow up as a man, I see an opportunity in it. So I decided to look for a job pertaining tourism. So that's when I was employed at Palamba. So I decided to go for tour guide studies. Because I grew up with the tourism industry, the wildlife, the rhinos and everything, to bring that experience to the tourist. You can see the hyena. The biggest change is I was employed, getting paid, and also I can now support my family.
It's a cultural thing. It's coming a long way. Even if you go to area like Tweefontein, area was a lot of paintings. You will see rhino engravings on the rocks. That is an indication that the interaction between human, especially the local communities and wildlife, is dating back. That intimacy relationship is coming for a long time.
We are right here now at Palamba, and Palamba is one of the big lodges in the heart of the desert. And as you can see there is Jumbo standing behind me, which shows it's really a tourist area. We do have elephants, lions, but as you can see, the desert is the heart of the rhinos. This is the main breeding area of the rhinos, is what we found here in this desert.
It's the largest free-roaming population of black rhinos that you find outside national parks in the world. It's a population that communities in the Northwest have taken responsibility themselves in managing this population with the structures that government has put in place, more specifically the establishment of conservancies.
These people, before independence, they took it upon themselves and decided that wildlife is our heritage, and through history we've been living with wildlife. And having wildlife in your area is like having a garden.
Because of all these animals, we've got the communities that benefit from all this wildlife, and it's like a triangle that fits into each other. And the communities looked after the wildlife doing their own thing, and the communities benefit.
So already there were this intergenerational relationship between mankind and wildlife, and that bond is what our people actually wanted to see it continuing.
Very few countries have the wildlife that Namibia has. What is also important is the policies that Namibia has put in place, which also involves communities to be engaged in the management of the wildlife species and also to benefit from the wildlife resources.
Turn conservation into a rural economy, turn conservation into endless opportunities that would actually cater for those young people that have nothing else to do.
If it was not for rhino economy and tourism in this area, it was really difficult for young people to get or find a job.
We are conservation engineers. We make conservation work in an unfenced area, and through that, we want to turn the wildlife into the rural economy that will benefit the rural communities.
So we can see now wildlife is doing very well, the lodges are doing well, and the community is also benefiting. So it takes all three together.
Devastating hit over coronavirus fears. Airline industry is facing its biggest threat to travel since 9/11.
Since March, when COVID-19 hit Namibia, things actually become very difficult. In the first place, all the lodges closed down because of COVID-19. With us, Save the Rhino Trust, we had some donors cutting on their funding. And then we had, in the same time, a poaching case of 2 rhinos that was poaching. We had less boots on the ground, and poachers could actually see. Now it's all changed to go in and do something. So COVID-19 was tough on all of us. Ginger Morning, who is one of our trustees, actually came up with the idea of, why don't we ask you to go to buy some gold for us and make gold bars? And then we sell them for rhino conservation.
I was fortunate enough to have a chance to have lunch with Clive Johnson, the CEO of B2 Gold in Vancouver, Canada. And I looked at Clive and I said, we've got rhinos, you've got gold, let's do something. Let's create a coin or a medallion or a bar using your resource to create a sustainable source of funding for rhino conservation for the future.
There was it. The gold was bought, the bars was made, and I think it was 31st of January that we launched the bars in Windhoek. And suddenly one morning I had an email from my office, from my finance person, saying, these people don't have salaries. So I said, oh, what now? So I picked up my phone and I phoned Mark Law. I said, Mark, I've got this problem. He said, but we've got the fund already ready for you. You just have to apply, put the proposal in.
1,000 ounces of gold can make an enormous difference to the livelihoods of the communities that live up there. We are, in essence, providing income and providing a livelihood to the communities. In the absence of tourism, especially now with COVID-19, even prior to that, when we had such a bad drought, the communities became even more dependent on the natural economy.
The idea is to make this a fund that will last for the next 25, 30 years, or even longer. And a portion of that will be distributed immediately as needed. And in this case, the COVID-19 crisis necessitated us to distribute funds to pay salaries to help people in the field.
The proceeds of the sales from the gold bars will be going towards responsible NGOs. And we've identified Save the Rhino Trust as the key NGO. And IRDNC, one of the first organizations that was in the Northwest, integrated rural development and nature conservation, so that ultimately the funds go to the communities and various aspects of their war on poaching.
To be able to support those hardworking men and women that are always in the front line between the poachers and the rhinos.
If it was not for B2 Gold and the golden bars, I think by now we should have been in big trouble.
By extracting the gold, you reinvest it in other renewable resources.
The gold that's coming out from the ground is actually protecting the wildlife that's working on the ground, which is a very good symbol for the others.
I wish this was my bar. This is the 500-gram gold bar. So you'll see on this side you've got the Itindeka Mountains and you've got the mother rhino with her calf. And then on the reverse side we've got the serial number You've got the Rand Refinery stamp, which is very important. Anywhere in the world, people will recognize the stamp and they will know that this bar contains 99.99% gold.
It is gorgeous.
We wanted to make a biggest contribution. And at Ballowwood, we see that as a way of giving back to the community.
Okay, so there you'll see the 500 gram bar.
Very special.
Feel the weight. It's incredible.
This opportunity which presented itself is absolutely a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
We're privileged to have this.
This is just absolutely gorgeous, and I think this showcase really what the project is all about.
It's from 24 karat Namibian gold.
I'm looking at these rhinos is put there like Miss World photogenic, I would say.
There are only 1,000 of these gold bars, rhino gold bars, in circulation.
As far as I'm aware, it's the largest single donation of any corporate to the conservation of biodiversity anywhere in Africa.
Therefore, we so much appreciate and would want to continue as a government to work with B2 Gold.
And the fact that it's happening here in Namibia is something that we can all be extremely proud about and very grateful to B2 Gold.
Thanks to having this literal pot of gold through the funding for the Rhino Gold Bar, we're able to step in now and make sure that those trackers are supported, and so are their families and their communities.
We make sure that people sustain their jobs going forward, and who doesn't want gold?
And the B2 Gold Rhino Gold Bar has come in at a really critical time now, particularly with tourism being closed off and those forms of revenue not coming in.
To say we have the biggest rhino population or black rhino population in the world, let it be for the rest of our lives. And it's that heritage that we have, it's our resource that we can all look after and protect.
It's our heritage. And it's also good that other people like B2 Gold are also seeing it that way.
It's actually a very nice link between the investor that buys this gold bar, the rhino tracker in the northwest of Namibia, and the black rhinos. It's an intergenerational thing. The rhino trackers teach their children how to track rhinos, their children get taught, and so it flows down.
This is something that I want my children to have, and that we leave a little bit of a B2 Gold legacy. And if I can be part of that as part of my family, I'd be very proud.
It can also become an inheritance for the generations of my own clan. My children, my grandchildren.
If we can bring that passion over to future generations and to hand that over to my children, and I hope that that same passion for conservation gets migrated over to my kids.
And what we've done together is create a sustainable source of funding that should outlive all of us.
You know, I think as far as B2 Gold is concerned, we couldn't have chosen a better target in which to put our efforts as far as the environmental and conservation pillar is concerned. And I want to stress there that the money that's going towards environment and conservation is actually going towards the people.
Rhino is for all of us, whether you are in Canada, whether you are in Vancouver, whether you are in the US. If you really want to see conservation at play with rural communities, I therefore humbly request each and everyone to join us on our rhino tour and have a wonderful experience. This is what keeps rhinos on this planet.
I've done rhino trekking experience. It was just amazing walking in that landscape of the Kunene. And as we followed them, we could now find rhinos with the calf. We got the closest distance we could.
It's a warning sign.
And it was just amazing and lovely, something to experience that Namibia can offer. It's something that you have to do in your life.
COVID-19 affects people very differently. Many people show no symptoms at all, but some are hospitalised for weeks. So what does the disease do to your body? The coronavirus enters through the mouth, nose or eyes. It then usually attaches itself to cells lining the nose, throat, airways or lungs. It can turn these cells into factories that multiply and spread the virus. For the majority, a fever, cough and breathlessness are as bad as it gets. But the virus can damage the small blood vessels lining the lungs and initiate clotting. The alveoli are tiny air sacs where oxygen goes into the blood. If they become inflamed, it can trigger pneumonia. Seriously ill patients need to be given oxygen as the lungs fill with fluid and debris.
I legit couldn't breathe. My oximeter was measuring under 88% oxygen levels, which is very dangerous. And the only time I ever thought my life was in danger was at that point.
COVID-19 doesn't just affect the lungs. It can also disrupt the immune system, which is used by the body to fight illnesses. Cytokines are part of the immune system that find and signal infections. For some people with severe COVID-19, this system can go into overdrive. If too many cytokines build up, it can cause an overreaction that damages healthy cells. This is called a cytokine storm for the most severe cases. COVID-19 can lead to seizures or even a coma. It can also cause brain problems that lead to strokes. The immune system overreacting can cause clots that stop the blood supply to parts of the brain. Brain inflammation, psychosis and dementia-like symptoms can also affect seriously ill patients. The average length of the illness is 14 days, but many people have symptoms for much longer. Breathing problems and post-viral fatigue last for months in some cases.
I cannot walk for long simply because I will feel a little bit short of breath and I feel the need to sit down. And that's something that has never happened to me before.
Some of the people who are most likely to develop severe symptoms are older adults and those with underlying health conditions. It's not fully known how anyone will react to COVID-19 until they get it. So it's important for everyone to follow health guidance. What precautions are you taking to stay safe?